Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Podcast. We are buzzing as always. What a wild day, guys. I'm in Cordoba, Argentina right now. Pretty cool city. My apologies if the setup isn't as good as usual. We're battling on the setup and there's construction beside the Airbnb right now. I messaged the host too and was like, yo, a couple of guests said there's construction. Please confirm this is done. She was like, yeah, it's done. Nothing to worry about. Of course, it's still hammering away. So this is a bit of a flu game here. We're going to do our best, but c'est la vie. Super pumped to have today's guest on the show, Will Reeves, coming in hot today. Co-founded Fold back in 2019 and has served as CEO of Fold and director since its inception. Over the past 8 years, he has held product leadership positions at Thesis, A3 Ventures, BYND, leading digital transformation and the development of innovation projects for Google and other Fortune 500 companies. Guys, I cannot wait to get into Fold. This is going to be an absolute treat. Well, welcome to the show, my friend. Pumped to have you on. How you doing this lovely evening? I guess lovely afternoon.
I'm doing great. I am live from Arizona, but I love Cordoba and Argentina. Spent a lot of time down there, so you're a lucky man today.
I love that. Well, you're in Zona. Are you a golfer by any chance?
No, you think I would move here to golf? I did it backwards. I need to learn. So it's the state pastime here. So in order to make friends fit in, I'm gonna have to pick it up.
I love it. Zona golf is some of my favorite golf in the world. It's so cool. You just can't lose balls if you miss the fairway in Zona. I mean, unless you're a sick puppy, like you can't really go mess around with the cacti, which is always in the sort of the hazard zone. But I mean, Zona golf is absolutely elite and it's not easy too. It's very tough. Highly recommend getting to golf, especially in Zona, one of my favorite states out there. Okay, let's jump into it. Give us the TLDR. What exactly is Fold? I have so many questions. I mean, you guys are literally changing something that I find useful, but at the same time is not useful, and that is sort of the consumer spending and points and credit and how all of this can be 100 times more efficient on chain. I've said this many times in the pod, I'm a bit of, I don't want to say a maxi, but I'm loyal. I feel like a lot of people are to a couple points programs. I'm an Air Canada guy. I will fly Air Canada over WestJet or any of my Canadian counterparts 9 times out of 10. I love American Express. I think Visa and MasterCard absolutely blows, at least when it comes to points and customer service and the whole 9 yards. But what you guys are doing here is really changing the game, and it ties into that a huge part. So to kick us off, Will, give us the TLDR on Fold and what you guys are doing.
Excellent. So Fold is really here to help make building savings in Bitcoin passive, simple, easy, and something that anyone can do. And so we took this view about in 2019 that Bitcoin would be an important asset at the core of the personal finances of all Americans. And we saw that many Americans were struggling to build savings. Inflation was something that would be persistent. Home ownership would be something that would continue to be difficult to get into. And Bitcoin would be a tool that at least my generation, I believe everyone could deeply benefit in a time where the regular tools just aren't working as they used to. And so we've created Fold to create a way to passively earn Bitcoin on everything you do. And so we started out with rewards. Almost 90% of Americans are in rewards programs, and it creates a way in which you can earn passively without investing your own money. It brings a risk-free approach. And so Fold is an app you could download and spend on your groceries, your mortgage, anything, and earn Bitcoin cash back. And we've since expanded the platform so that you could buy Bitcoin, convert your paycheck into it. But really, I think it is the most comprehensive platform for accumulating and saving in Bitcoin for Americans.
I love that. I mean, that's a good world. Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are not available in Canada yet, right?
We're not available in Canada yet, but we consider our northern brothers important, and they are definitely part of our roadmap. We have plenty to build here. We have coming up here, we just announced our partnership with Stripe and Visa to launch our Bitcoin rewards credit card. This would be 3.5% back card direct to Bitcoin. And we're partnering with the best in the business. I know you knocked Visa for Amex, and you bring up a good point. Really points programs and rewards are very, very strongly held cultural forces.
Yep.
Airline miles were really created for the boomer generation to create loyalty and an affinity to a card program, to become top of wallet. And it worked for a very long time. And to some extent, people like you still have these, like, are still clinging to their programs. But when
Yep.
you look at these programs, those programs themselves are devaluing everything you earn by an average of 20% every year. They are making the miles, the points, less valuable, and they are
Yeah.
making what you can redeem for them
The
more
redemption's
expensive.
more expensive. Yeah, it's
So
true.
you are very loyal to something that is not loyal to you. And
Yep.
that is what Fold is changing now, is creating a migration from programs that really aren't aligned with their customers to ones that are. Fold cannot debase Bitcoin. You simply can earn it and you can take hold of it. You can turn it into cash. You can buy an airline ticket. You can earn more Bitcoin back. And, just me personally, I have been using, obviously, I've been a user of the full debit rewards card since 2019. I have about $86,000 in Bitcoin rewards I've earned. That is just about more value than any other airline mile program will ever give you in your life. We could, with that type of reward, we can buy our way into any lounge, we can buy any first class ticket. It simply makes more sense. And what we're seeing right now is that the millennial generation, which has historically actually been the driver of Bitcoin adoption, is now rethinking their loyalty to these old programs that really don't have them in mind. And so they are changing to Bitcoin rewards. And that's what really has driven our growth. And what we're seeing today is Amex has gotten the game, MasterCard is now in the game, and
Yep.
Visa is as well with us. But it's something that started with us. We created this category back in 2019.
Wow. Let's go back to 2019. What was the inflection point? What was the aha moment where you were like, damn, I can do this? Because again, now every day it seems like there's a shit ton of these cards out here. I think Coinbase just came out with one in Canada. I don't know if it's Bitcoin back. I think it's funny, so Canadian as well, a little off topic here, but Coinbase came out with, I believe it's 4% up to a certain amount per year. And of course, you get that 4% back in USDC, even though we're Canadian and you can't use USDC anywhere in Canada, which was hilarious. But nonetheless, they're coming out everywhere. What was that aha moment back in 2019 where you were like, shit, this is going to be the future here?
So I've been building in this space since about 2017. And we started off as a platform that allowed people to use Bitcoin to go to Starbucks, to shop at their grocery store. So it was essentially a Bitcoin payments platform. And we were beloved by a lot of the early adopters of Bitcoin. A lot of miners were using us, a lot of people who had made the jump to building their personal finances on Bitcoin back then, but it was a very small group. And also
Mm,
Bitcoin at that time, Lightning wasn't around. Bitcoin was not an optimal payment rail for small retail transactions. It was slow, it was taxed, there were no rewards, and just about in every way, a credit card swiping was in terms of UX was superior. And so we went down that path for a while. We noticed as Bitcoin went, up and down, that people would stop spending their Bitcoin, would start spending their Bitcoin. It was really hard business it was very volatile business on top of a volatile thing, Bitcoin. And so we saw that maybe we weren't solving the right problem. The problem was not that Bitcoin was so amazing and that everyone needed to start spending it to make it their money. The problem was not enough people had Bitcoin to begin with. And so we had to create a means of building a Bitcoin position for everyday people. And this is really was brought back to I think it was, we were standing in a line at Starbucks doing some beta testing on our program, and we saw, hey, why are we fighting this? What if we were the Bitcoin reward, not an airline mile, not a point, not a loyalty point, but what if it was Bitcoin being delivered and we delivered the UX that everyone is used to, but we deliver Bitcoin instead? And so we piloted that. It was up and to the right from there. And really that was the main inflection point, was changing the way we viewed the problem that needed to be solved and mapping it to a right solution.
interesting. Very interesting. We'll get into like Bitcoin as a whole outside of Fold in the second half of the show, but walk me through building a Bitcoin first product stack. your whole biz literally revolves around Bitcoin. It's people use their fiat dollars, which I assume you guys, don't really touch kind of thing. It's more just the movement of funds. But building a Bitcoin first company for consumers, more on the B2C side than the B2B side. What does that look like? What are some of the pain points? What are some of the easy points? Walk us through what it's like building that.
So in our journey to do this transition to rewards, and then really now Fold is not just a place to earn rewards, but you can get paid in Bitcoin, you can spend dollars, you can spend your Bitcoin, you can build your savings, you can take advantage of merchant offers. And what that means is we're bringing the worlds of Bitcoin custody and Bitcoin payments together with the worlds of traditional finance, dollars custody, dollar payments. And so these two things live together on Fold. So we have our traditional financial partners with FDIC insured accounts. There's debit cards, checking accounts, credit cards, you name it, everything that people are already used to today. But now we've had to build at the core Bitcoin custody, Bitcoin payments, Bitcoin sending, peer-to-peer, a Bitcoin wallet functionality. And these things need to be integrated seamlessly. So it is not, I have my dollar bank here and then my Bitcoin bank here. Fold brings these two things together into one. We believe this is the future. And with that, there's several challenges. Number one, there's been the challenges of building with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has undergone incredible transformation since we started back in 2017 till now. You can think of Lightning, you can think of we've gone through hard forks, we've gone through many different transformations of the network, and Fold has had to navigate that on behalf of our users and with our users. So that has been difficult. At the same time, I would say probably the hardest piece of it was really not the Bitcoin side. Bitcoin is relatively simple to work with. It is an open source technology. You can see the ledger. It is permissionless. So I don't need to go into anybody to say, I'm going to build a Bitcoin wallet or I'm going to make a Bitcoin transaction. It's really the traditional side that is very complex. It is not, it is very permissioned. And so getting all of the partnerships with the traditional banks and the card networks and bringing them to a platform where they're going to be deeply connected to Bitcoin finance as well was really the difficulty. And that is both a political difficulty, that is a technical difficulty, and really that is something that we have been needed to solve very early on. And I think that's really, if you look back at our history, kind of explains a lot. We were the first Bitcoin company that Visa ever partnered with. We are now the first, and that fast forward to now, we are a publicly traded company. So we had to go through the SEC filings and transparency for that. And really that all stems to, we had DNA at the very beginning that we had to be the most buttoned up in the room. We had to be, essentially evangelists of Bitcoin that allowed us to educate people and have them trust in us to bring Bitcoin into their platforms. And so really that's been quite a journey, not always straightforward and not always full of wins and successes. There's been definitely some problems along the way, but really surprisingly, Bitcoin tech was not the issue. It was really the traditional financial system that was.
Classic. So good. Visa, walking us through the partnership, the integration with Visa. Again, I'm asking a lot of questions from a very curious standpoint here. What are some of the hardships? What were some of the easy parts? Walk us through that whole thing. How did that go down? Traditionally, it seems pretty easy. Visa just is already patched into all of the financial communication and info layers that we currently have in today's world. Not too tied in with the crypto world yet. Every year they're getting better and better. It started with you guys, now it's with a bunch of other companies too. How does Visa connect its infra with the Bitcoin network?
So that can take many shapes. Initially, it was more enabling partners like Fold to mediate the connection from Visa to networks like Bitcoin.
Mm.
Now, and what that looks like is, when the first Bitcoin rewards card, Fold launched that. It was a debit card. You would swipe the card and we would get the Visa transactions and we would deliver Bitcoin and send to a Bitcoin address. So we were the mediator behind it. We had to watch the Visa network and then watch the Bitcoin network. Visa really wasn't doing anything on the Bitcoin side. Now what you're seeing is Visa really taking a step further and actually opening up integrations that are far deeper. They are now accepting native settlement and stable coins between institutions to help settle up between different various networks, international, between large banks. And so it's really been a process. But what we've seen historically is that all of these traditional financial partners start with essentially an arm's length approach. They find a partner like Fold who they trust, they understand the value proposition, and then that partner becomes the mediator between their network and the new network that they're integrating with. And now what we're seeing is, after showing the proof points, the successes along the way, they are now natively integrating directly in their own ways. And so that is something that couldn't have happened, 5 years ago, but now has, because they've seen the successes of companies like Fold.
Well said. Very interesting. Well, you're on a roll here, mate. We got to take a quick break. Give a huge shout out to our sponsor of the show, Prime XBT. And when we get back, we will continue to buzz on Fold and Bitcoin. Also, guys, Bitcoin hit ATH over the weekend, and Will and I didn't even touch it. This is sort of the new state of crypto land, of the cryptoverse that we live in. We hit a new all-time high, and it's barely on the timeline, and people still think we're going to get wrecked. A couple of years ago, heck, even last year, we would have been throwing parties about Bitcoin all-time high. And now the euphoria is really not even here. Pretty wild to see. But huge shout out to Prime XBT. We love the team at Prime XBT, as they offer a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet. You can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XBT is also running an exclusive promo for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. Use the promo code CryptoNews50. That is CryptoNews50, CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Now back to the show with Will. Okay, let's talk Bitcoin for a sec, and then we'll jump back into Fold before we wrap up here. All-time high, 125. No one even talks about it. Are we cooked here, Will? Do we have more legs left in this October? Is October not even going to happen? Is this just a little blimp in the charts? Are you worried about a potential World War III going on? Give the folks what they want to hear. What's going on with present day crypto? What's going on with present day Bitcoin?
We are just getting started, as they say. We look back, and most of these, if we look back at previous all-time highs and previous cycles, it really represents a saturation within a target investment group. So 2017 was really the denouement, the final step of retail coming into Bitcoin. It was primarily represented by everyday people downloading Coinbase and other platforms and buying Bitcoin. And it went from people who were using, very primitive wallets in a very niche community online, to then Coinbase. And that's how we got that 2017 to run up to 20K. What we're seeing now is a whole new set of investors that are just lining up right now. We've heard early aspects of them. A few, now we have over 200 corporations investing, but 200 corporations is very small compared to how many exist in the world. We have a few nation states that are investing, again, very early, with how many are saying that they are going to invest. We have pension funds. We have the ETFs, with just booked a record week of inflows, I believe 3.5 billion, close to that, a couple weeks ago. And so when we say we're just getting started, it's because these pools of capital, which are orders of magnitude larger than anything retail brings to the table, are now just getting started, and they are just getting serious. And part of that takes time. There's board resolutions, there's politics, there's all this, but a lot of that now is behind us. Bitcoin has just hit an all-time high with just a few of them participating. That only gives more credence, more resolve, more confidence for this next wave to join, and we are about to see them jump in. And when that happens, really, that's what will drive us to the next leg up. So I say we're absolutely just getting started, and it will be quite a sight to behold. The whole thing about Fold and what we try to do is that you are early. Makes best sense to get started now. There are really no
Stack them now. Yeah.
and get ready for the ride up. It's going to be a hell of a year ahead.
Yeah, I have a couple things that I'm a little worried about, but overall, I do tend to agree. I do think it's going to be good. Bitcoin DeFi over the last couple, honestly, more this year than any other year will. I've we started the pod in 2021. We had a bunch of guests in 2021 who were trying to do stuff with Lightning Network, who were trying to move and groove on Bitcoin DeFi. Not a lot of success, if we're being honest here. This year, however, some incredible guests on the show in the Bitcoin DeFi space. I would say you guys are sort of Bitcoin DeFi, but more Bitcoin CeFi, almost, if that makes sense. Bitcoin centralized finance, adding the Bitcoin layer and adding the Bitcoin provenance to traditional finance current solutions. But a lot of guests have come on and are really moving and grooving in the space and giving folks yield as well. What's your take on Bitcoin DeFi present day? You think it's here to stay, or is Bitcoin still going to just be that store of value that we stack and that's about it?
So right now, Bitcoin is going to continue to prove what it has for the last, decade plus, that it is the best performing asset and it is the superior form of savings. That's not going to change. What has changed is all the infrastructure around it to use it, to make it more valuable. If you think of, 10 years ago, there wasn't much you could do with your Bitcoin besides send it to someone and hold it yourself. Now we've gone through a couple cycles where there's been experimentation with some successes, with actually probably mostly failures. If we look back at FTX, Voyager, BlockFi, you name it, some pretty, even early forms of the ETF that were closed end funds. There was just many issues going through that experimentation phase that was both a mix of the tech wasn't ready, but also bad actors. And I think we are finally entering a period where the tech is much more superior. You look at things like ARC coming to market here, which will open up vastly more expressive Bitcoin transactions. You look at things on both the centralized and decentralized aspect of it that both make it more transparent. But at the end of the day, I think it's still early. And what we will see is that right now, Bitcoin DeFi is getting beat to the punch. If you look at where a lot of the activity is going, especially for retail, you can look that the ETFs have gone on an epic growth run. But if you look
Yep.
at retail interest in Bitcoin from buying spot Bitcoin, it's much more muted. And part of the reason is not just that people already have brokerages and they can buy an ETF easier than downloading a new app and then buying Bitcoin. It's that also that there's a bunch of infrastructure already ready to support these ETFs. There's margin loans that allow you to take loans out
Yeah.
at great interest rates on your Bitcoin. It carries none of the smart contract risk. There's insurance. There's counterparties that you can go and point to when they lose your funds. And that's still something that DeFi is not offering. Now, DeFi in some aspects can offer a lower interest rate here, but it offers a lot of other risks. And so what I think we're going to see now is the pressure put on the DeFi that either allows us to merge in two ways. It either allows us to emerge where the actual traditional financial system embraces some DeFi protocols, and there's some examples of this with Morpho Labs and Coinbase, and one of the larger banks actually just tapped Morpho Labs to do on-chain lending for them. So on-chain lending for a bank. And I think in that case, it's going to push DeFi to move faster, to cater to the needs of both the institutions that are the capital partners, but also retail and what they're used to. Or DeFi is really left as kind of the Wild West, more of an international product that is more open, more risky, but in some ways can offer better value propositions, on interest rate or speed
Mm,
or
mm.
size. And it will be something that always exists, but it's kind of more of a gray market area. And I think we'll find out where this all shakes out over the next 4 years. I personally hope that we have a robust decentralized financial ecosystem and a centralized financial ecosystem. I think both of these keep each other in check. They provide competition, and that is good. Now, it's not going to be successful if we have another wave of founders and protocols that looked like the wave that were around in 2017 to 2021. that's junior leagues, that's bad actors, and that's really just not an experience that will scale or is desirable. So I'm optimistic, but right now centralized financial institutions are really eating DeFi lunch in terms of size at the moment, with the one exception is things like Tether and stable coins. And so a little bit different than Bitcoin, but related.
Yeah, well said. Well, great happy dude. Really appreciate you coming on. Any big Fold news coming out over the next couple weeks, months? Your episode is going to air in a couple of days on Thursday the 9th. Anything coming out, give or take, close to then, a couple of weeks after then? And again, no one's going to hear this until Thursday at the 9th. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so we got two exciting things. We created what's called a Bitcoin gift card, and this allows people to buy a gift card at some of the largest retailers in the US and give it as a gift to friends and family. So right now, if you go to bitcoingiftcards.store, you'll see a map. There's about 1,900 locations at top retailers around the United States where you can find these physical cards. It makes an incredible gift for both holidays, for graduations, for birthdays. It's really an incredible tool to get people involved with Bitcoin easily. So I encourage people to check that out. We are seeing incredible success with that. And then, of course, our Bitcoin credit card. This is going to be the best Bitcoin credit card on the market. There's no requirements to lock up a bunch of funds on our platform. There's no hidden categories. It's really a basic, straightforward card that I believe will become one of the largest and most beloved card programs in the US for now. I know we have an international audience here, but we will get there. And you can find that out at foldapp.com, and you can see our credit card page. You can get your name on the wait list, and that will be dropping shortly as well.
Love it. Well, wouldn't that be last thing before you go? Please let our listeners know where they can find Fold, of course, and you personally online and on socials.
I think X is where we're most active. So you can find myself at WLRVS, and then Fold at Fold_app. And let us know what you think of the products. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know where you want us to go and bring the company. So we are very active there, and we'll definitely give you a shout.
Love it. Folks, what an episode with Will Reeves, co-founder of Fold. Great epi on everything Bitcoin, CeFi related, building one of the OG and best Bitcoin related, TradFi products out there. Huge shout out to Will and the team for making this happen. If you guys enjoyed this one, I hope you did. Please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my team, and I hammer that like button as well. And speaking of the team, love you guys. Thank you for everything. Jag, you keep on crushing it. And back to the listeners, love you guys. Keep on growing those bags and keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one. All the best, guys. Ciao.